deliver the final complete seller disclosures to the buyer's agent if not already given before offer was accepted. Due to unforeseen circumstances like the seller's traveling or sickness. 117 is discuss and explain with the buyer the buyer's inspection advisory if representing the buyer. 118 is to fill out the buyer inspection elections, buyer material issues, the buyer's inspection waiver as applicable. 119 is to order the septic system inspection and or the sewer lateral inspection if applicable, depending on city to city. Some cities make it mandatory. 120 is to receive and review septic system report and assess any possible impact on the sale of the property. 121 is to deliver a copy of the septic system and the sewer lateral inspection report to the buyer. 122 is to deliver the roof report and the copies of that to the buyer. 123 is to verify the termite inspection ordered and to be present while it's going on. 124 is to verify mold inspection ordered and to be present and deliver after completion to all parties concerned. 125 is to prepare timeline of events and calendar. Notify the buyer or seller client if the contracted terms are not or have not been met and to discuss consequences and potential actions such as cancellation, delivery of notice to buyer to perform as applicable, and notice of the seller to perform if the seller is not performing, and the demand to close escrow. These are some of the documents that need to be put in during that timeline. Now 126 is, if not already done, to conduct reasonably and competent the diligent visual inspection, which is the agent visual inspection form that may affect the value and desirability of the property using the TDS and the agent visual inspection form, and ensuring that the seller is also reviewing it and discussing with the seller. Tracking the loan process is also important, but that has to be done at least about 10 days before close of escrow. 127 is to follow the loan processing all the way through underwriting. 128 is to add lender and other vendors to the management program so agents, buyer and seller can track the progress of the sale. 129 is to contact lender weekly to ensure processing is on track. 130 is to relay the final approval of the buyer's loan application to the seller. The home inspection also comes into play before close of escrow, and that's 131. Coordinate buyer's professional home inspection with the seller's agent. 132 is to review home inspector's report with buyer. 133 is to enter completion into transaction management system tracking software. 134 is to explain to buyer the seller's responsibilities and explain any clauses in the contract. 135 is to use request to repair forms to ask the seller, if representing the buyer, to make any repairs, give credit or reduce purchase price. 136 is to negotiate that form, using the form, the repairs, and explain the consequence of removing the inspection and investigation contingency or any other contingency as the term or the request happens. 137 is to assist the seller with identifying contractors to perform any agreed upon repairs. 138 is to confirm with seller all repairs are final at least 5 days before close of escrow and that the seller provided receipts for those repairs. Then, even before the loan closes, the appraisal comes into play, which is 139. Coordinate appraisal appointment with the seller's agent. 140 is to provide comparable sales used in market pricing to the appraiser if the appraiser asks for it. 141 is to follow up on the appraisal. 142 is to enter completion into the transaction management system. 143 is to assist the seller or the buyer in questioning the appraisal report if it seems too low. Closing preparation comes after that, and at 144, coordinating with the closing process the buyer and the lender. 145 is to update the closing forms and the files with administration and assistance. 146 is to ensure all parties have all forms and information needed to close the sale. 147 is to confirm with the seller that they will be available in person for the signing of the closing docs, either at home or at the title company. And if they will not be available, make alternate arrangements via remote online notary and verify with title the timeline. 148 is to confirm closing date and time and notify all concerned parties. 149 is to coordinate with title company in solving any title related issues if there's any errors, such as obtaining death certificates or representative capacity signatures that are required for documentation purposes. 150 is to work with the buyer's agent in scheduling the buyer's final verification of property prior to closing. 151 is to request final closing figures from escrow holder. 152 is to receive and carefully review closing figures to ensure the accuracy of preparation. 153 is to request copy of closing documents from escrow holder. 154 is to coordinate with the escrow and title, verifying that the lender requirements have been met and the documents are all on track, such as title policy that had to be obtained to enable the closing happening on time. 155 is to review all closing documents carefully for any errors. 156 is to verify seller has received all closing documents. 157 is to coordinate closing with the seller's next purchase if they're buying another property and to resolve any timing problems if applicable. 158 is have a no surprises closing to seller so that they receive the net proceeds into their account at closing. 159 is to refer the sellers to one of the agents if they're out of area. 160 is to change the MLS status from pending to sold, enter the date, the price, and the selling brokerage, etc. 161 is to close out listing in my listing management program. 162 is to verify with the seller all personal items and debris to be cleared that have to be removed before the keys are handed over, and confirm all items included in the sale, such as the appliances, that will remain at closing, and then to follow up after the closing. 163, answer questions about filing claims with the home warranty company if at all required. 164 is to respond to any calls and provide any information required from the administration and the office for completion of records on the file. 165 is to provide referrals to the service providers that might assist the clients with evaluating the conditions and providing extra keys. 166 is to offer or transmit communications to the other agent and all parties concerned. 167, if any dispute cannot be resolved between the parties, to remind the parties to mediate before moving for arbitration or any litigation if required in the purchase agreement. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for bearing with me because it was pretty long. For anything in detail that you have any queries on, please reach out directly at 510-374-2264. Thank you, and until next time, stay focused.